Welcome to 420 Colts Lane. I am your host, Nate Lowry, and here with my special guest today, Zack Haas. Hopefully I'm going to get you on a lot later, too, as the season goes. Today I wanted to get on here and just kind of discuss our thoughts on mock draft for the draft that's coming up in just a few days. I can't wait. Very excited. We're going to do two different scenarios, and we'll discuss the first 3 rounds, which is actually 4 picks. Before we get started, though, is there any thoughts on the free agency and the off season so far that you want to share?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job this year in free agency and everything, and retaining a lot of their own players. Only getting 2 from out of the building, which I think everybody expected, but they wanted them to spend all the money. They didn't. So picking up Justin Houston's huge. D. Oh my God, our D line is so much stronger now that with him in there, and he can be in there to mentor the young guys too. And I like the Devin Funchess pickup. You know, we're good at making not big name receivers work.
Well, I mean, I'm always big on big size. I honestly don't know as much about Funchess as you do. I had to go and do some research on him, and I think that kind of said a little bit about him, where it's kind of like, this is a no-name guy. I mean, maybe not a no-name guy, but if I've never even heard of the guy before, then, you know, whatever. But I do like big backs or wide receivers. I've always been wanting a big wide receiver. I wish we would get a more talented big wide receiver.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you pair him up, you can get him for the cheap. I think it plugs into position, and that works for me.
Yeah.
As far as Houston's concerned, that was like so excited, dude.
Oh yeah,
he was one of very few people that were on my list of people I wanted to come to the team, and I started seeing all of the other people I wanted go. Collins, I really wanted to see us get Collins, but they overpaid for him. Washington overpaid with him, and to be honest with you, I would probably be pissed off at the Colts if they would have paid him what he got paid over there in Washington. So I was okay with it when he went. I was like, whatever, dude. Like, good for him getting that money. I think it was a terrible decision by the Redskins. That's just way too much money for him.
But hey, even doing that, they retained Geathers, so we'll see if he can stay healthy. And there's a couple good safeties out there this year. I think we're gonna be all right in that position without Collins.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to go ahead and give my first pick. My first pick overall. This is going to be my most likely scenario. I'm going to do 2 of them. This is, to me, my most likely scenario, who they're going to do. I'm actually going to go at number 26, N'Keal Harry, the wide receiver from Arizona State. Again, a much bigger receiver he is. Well, I seen him listed both at 6'2". He's listed at 6'2", 28, and then I saw him listed at 6'4", 115.
Yeah, I got 6'2", 228.
Okay, so 6'2", 28 is what he's listed at. So he's not. I thought he was actually a little bit bigger than that, but still, regardless, the dude's a beast. He ran a 4.5 340, and he had 1,088 yards, 77 receptions, and 4 touchdowns. 9. Can't read my own writing. 9 touchdowns. He's definitely a physical he's fast enough speed. It's not blazing speed, but for what he is, definitely more physical back. I can go with a 4.53.
Oh yeah. With that. Well, when you got a 4.3 guy, you know, the number 13 there.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
the pair up between the two I like a lot.
Yeah.
He's a really good run blocker too, which I think is really, really good, and something that we haven't really had too much of in our wide receiver position. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
If he were to add it, you've got a much bigger wide receiver with lesser talent.
Sure.
You got a medium-sized receiver with really good talent, and then of course we've got one of the best wide receivers in the league in T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, yeah.
So I talked to you before about how I didn't really want to go wide receiver, and I changed my mind as I started looking at this draft class and seeing who was going to land where. I would really like to see this guy. He's definitely the wide receiver I want.
Right. Yeah, he's a good one. He's put up the numbers. He's got the size, got enough speed, good hands, good route running ability, and with learning from Hilton and everything, your route running ability can only get better.
Sure.
I mean, let's face it, good wide receiver coaches that we have, he'd be just fine in our system.
And of course, with Andrew Luck throwing you the ball,
that helps.
He can mask
That
some of the deficiencies
helps.
in your game,
Yeah.
anyways. So
Yeah, if you drop his pass, that's most likely you're bad.
All right, I'm gonna kick it back to you.
All right, for my first round, the 26th pick, I got Jonathan Abram, safety, Mississippi State.
Beast.
He's probably my favorite player in this year's draft.
Mine too.
Great tone-setting safety, perfect fit for be right next to Malik Hooker. Got to work on his ball skills and everything, but got good coaching, and majority of our defensive backs have good ball skills as it is, so he could really be coached up and mentored to get over that. We got good coverage guys. They can help him in that too, but he's a good thumping safety that'll just come up to the line of scrimmage and cream a running back if he feels like it.
And a thumping safety is nice.
Oh, yeah.
I should have actually. I got my Leonard jersey on. I should have went and got out the Bob
the
Sanders
Bob
jersey,
Sanders,
just so we could talk about. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
seriously, dude, like how long has it been since we've had just a hard hitting safety? Bob Sanders. I mean,
Bob Sanders. He was the guy.
We've had a couple, but they don't last very long. That's the problem. And I think that was the big problem with Sanders too.
Yeah, I think Abram displays a lot more restraint in how he uses his hits.
Smarter.
He's a lot smarter about it, so I think he'd last a lot longer than some of the people we've mentioned, especially Sanders, because he played 45% of the games that he was a Colt.
Yeah.
But when he did play, Defensive Player of the Year in 07, I think, and.
Oh, Sanders is a beast.
Yeah, he's
and I got
monster.
to meet him at Phoenix, and he looks like a house that's stacked sideways. Like, I mean, the dude is like he's like my height, but he's like 18 times my size.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the dude was a freaking beast.
Oh yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
So yeah, I'd really like to see us get a good thumping safety back and just add depth to that defensive back group. We always talk about depth, and he'd be a real good guy who would actually probably end up taking a starting role.
Sure.
For sure.
Okay, well, I can't hate you for that. I think that's a great pick there, number one. I actually have him going number 34 to us.
Yeah, and he could fall there.
He could fall. When I looked at his projection, where he was going, I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
People had him going like even like late second into the third round almost. You know what I mean? So
sure.
I feel like he could definitely slip to us here at this first in the second round at 34, and I'm with you. I honestly, this is the guy I want. And if this was switched around and he went first, and somehow N'Keal Harry switched to us, I could see that happening as well. N'Keal Harry's numbers were kind of a little bit in that range. I think they were a little bit more tightly projected,
right.
But this is definitely the range where he was projected at. So, as far as I'm concerned, we could switch both of these around. It might still happen both those ways. With having 26 and 34 and being right in that range. The guy I do want is Jonathan Abram, and so honestly, if they did take him first and took a chance on waiting to see who was left there at wide receiver, if they were looking for a wide receiver, I wouldn't be upset by that.
And there's a lot of good receivers out there too.
Yeah.
A lot deep receiver class this year.
Sure,
receiver class.
So yeah, I mean he's 5'11", he's 205 pounds,
Yep.
And like you said, okay, he's not
4.45 40 too. That's pretty quick for a safety.
Dude, a 4.45. I was all about that. When I saw that, I didn't realize that he ran that quick, and I was doing my research, and I'm like, yes,
he did. He did.
The more I did with this, I had a couple other guys that I think I wanted. The more and more I started looking at this, I was like, Jonathan Abram, please, like this is who we want. Anyways, he's 4.45 40. He had 99 tackles, 9 for loss, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, 5 breakups, and a forced fumble. So, I mean, to me, and he's a hard hitter, and to me, he pairs well with what we have with Gathers and
Hooker.
Hooker. How could I ever forget that name? So, yeah, those two, I think, have a little bit of a different, more coverage style, isn't it? Like a little bit more lockdown press. Sure. And so when you add him back there, you give themselves that hard hitter that they're kind of missing, and I think he definitely is a plug and play.
Sure.
We would be able to do a lot with our mixed upper packages and stuff like that.
Sure.
So,
and the nice thing about having a guy like Hooker on the other side that would make him so good, he's more of a up towards the line of scrimmage guy, where Hooker can just drop deep.
Yep.
And he's a ball hawk back there. I mean, it shows last year. The first year he played 7 games, had 3 interceptions. He came back after an injury, and they wouldn't throw at him. But he still got 2 interceptions, and they wouldn't throw his way. So if you have him free roaming back there,
through to him.
if you have him free roaming back there, he's always dangerous to at least break it up.
I personally would be super excited if we get this guy. I would be super excited about it. I think defensively, we made a lot of strides just last year. If you plug in a couple players in a couple key positions to add to your scheme a little bit, to me, Abrams does that. And I would be very excited.
Yeah, so. good character guy too.
Oh, good character guy.
Great locker room guy.
Great locker room guy, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, so, and he fits exactly what Ballard's profile. No, Frank Greg's profile.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that more people didn't have Abrams going to us. Like a lot of people had different players going to us that I didn't think really fully fit what we were looking for.
Right.
We'll discuss a little bit more of that later. But I do feel like he is actually, like, to me, a perfect fit for what we're doing.
Right.
So, anyways, go ahead and bounce that back to you.
All right, for my round 2 pick is a little bit more. I don't know. I like him. But I got Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle from Mississippi State. Hell of an athlete. If he didn't tear his ACL, he probably would have been going top 15 at least. The nice thing about the Colts is they have the depth at defensive line to let him heal, get back to where he needs to be. And once he gets back on the field, I think he can be a hell of a player for us on the defensive line, a force, because he's very, very athletic, just big guy, big hands, but he's quick, good penetrator. Got 22.5 sacks in 2 seasons in Division I college football. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I think his tackles for loss were somewhere around 40 something like that, 43, 45.
Yeah, he definitely is a good player, and I think you're getting him at a value at that position, and I definitely could see him slipping. I got to be honest with you, I don't think that he's going to slip that far. I really don't.
I'm hoping he does.
I got to be honest, my personal opinion, and he's going to go to those guys. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he's going to those guys.
Yeah.
We all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, those people, they want to value picks. They got all kinds of picks. They have patience. They know how to set up a team where it doesn't matter if you play right away. You're going to play eventually anyways. I think he's definitely, they don't care if you've got a little bit of a character issue problem. They'll take you anyways. We've seen that.
Yep.
Whereas the Colts, I still think he's got some character issues, and just... Yes, and I understand that Ballard's not going to pass up a really good value pick at that position. I doubt because of it does seem like it's a little bit of a small issue that happened. It was something that happened. It was like a domestic violence thing, wasn't it?
I think so.
And so it was something that happened. He's come out and apologized. He ain't had a problem since. I guess people said that ever since that happened, he really straightened his act together and became like the perfect teammate. I think it was kind of like a character thing where it woke him up a little bit, and it seemed to have learned from his mistake.
Right.
So I don't know that he would get hit that bad, but you just never know. I mean, the Colts really are stingy about their players, and they don't want anybody on their team that's going to cause any kind of an issue like that. So, but with that said, I personally don't think he's still going to be there. I would have added him. That was my biggest struggle with putting him on there. Was like, I just don't see it getting past those guys.
Right.
I don't know who we're talking about.
Right. Pick 32.
All right. I'm going to go with at pick 59. Here I have Julian Love, the cornerback. Oh, I didn't even write down where he's from. Notre Dame. Right?
Notre Dame, yeah, right down the road.
Right down the road from here. Cornerback from South Bend. His height is 5'11", 195. He runs a 4.54 40, which, to be honest with you, was a little slow for me. I was like kind of shocked that he didn't run a little faster when I was looking at this, but I do think from looking at him, he's got a lot of what we're looking for. I think he would be a very good complement to our current cornerback situation. I think he would plug in really easily. And here at the slot in our second round, I think he's a perfect fit. He's still probably going to be available or be taking about that time frame. He has 16 pass breakups, 13 stops. He had 3 for a loss. He had 1 interception, 3 forced fumbles, in 11 starts. I like the 3 forced fumbles.
Oh, yeah.
When you're pairing him with the beast Darius Leonard.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
D. Leonard.
We had to
Maniac,
do it. Had to do it. But he obviously forces fumbles. He is with a technique that's just amazing. I mean, it's so beautiful to watch. I'm in love with this dude. I really am.
It reminds you of Peanut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like
man.
almost like, but he's in his first year.
Yeah.
He's in his first year and he's doing these things that Peanut took a little while to be able to really get into. Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess he did in college, stuff like that. But anyways, you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
but you look at like one person that you can point at in history to say like, that's the example.
That's what
and
they
that's
do.
Peanut Tillman.
Yeah.
And here is this dude just doing it all over the place. And he
Yeah.
does it with a technique. Anyhow,
yeah.
if you can add other players on the field, like you said, if we were able to get, if in this scenario we were able to get Abram and Julian Love,
Oh, man.
you've got a hard hitting safety, you've got a linebacker that'll strip the ball from you, you've got a cornerback that obviously has the ability to do that as well.
Yeah.
And that would be super exciting.
Right.
I would absolutely love to see our defense. Personally, myself, you're going in the AFC this year is going to be ridiculous. There is
Yeah.
going to be passing games all over the place. You've got the Patriots,
Yep.
obviously. You've got Kansas City, which
Oh,
looks
man.
amazing. I don't
Yeah,
even know.
they're-
Like,
yeah, they're good.
You've
They're
got
good,
the
man.
Browns on paper. We haven't seen them do this yet, even though they did look pretty good
on
last
paper,
year.
they look
And
real good.
you got the Chargers out there.
Yep.
So I mean, you're sitting here in the AFC and you're going like, stop that passing game. That's what what
Right.
your goal is. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I think if we were able in this scenario to be able to get Jonathan Abram and Julian Love,
Oh man.
I mean, I would absolutely love it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That mixed with our linebacking core and Justin Houston putting pressure on him to create these turnovers. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, guys, I don't think I've been this excited about a Colts defense. I'm a defensive guy. I don't even have an Andrew Luck jersey, if that tells you anything. But I had to make sure that this is a knockoff, all right? I'm not going to lie about it. But I had to go out and I had to get this because I absolutely love Leonard. So it's like, dude,
Oh, yeah.
our defense, I'm a defensive guy. I can't wait if this was some kind of a scenario that we got just to watch that play out. Man, I'd
Oh
be
yeah.
excited.
Yeah, that'd be real exciting.
All right, I'm going to kick back to you.
All right, for pick 59 in the second round, I got a receiver going to us, Kelvin Harmon from NC State.
Okay.
Real good one. Like his size, really good run after the catch ability.
Did you get his size? Did you get his size right now?
Yeah, let's see. Kelvin Harmon, we got 6'2", 221.
Sure.
Runs a 40 and 4.6, but runs clean routes. He's good, like I said, after the catch. Kind of hard to bring down. And I think it'd just add good competition to our wide receiver room. You know, because we got Deion Kane coming too. So if you don't want to use an early pick, you can use one of your little bit later picks and get you a good value receiver in there.
Sure.
I believe that. And we've got one other good player from NC State too. I think on our team that panned out pretty well last year.
Yes.
Yeah, Naeem Hines. Yeah, so they're producing some good players out of there. They're doing a good job down there, and I really like this receiver. Been watching him for a little while now, and I'm hoping he drops that far so we can get him.
So does he seem like he's projected a little higher?
No, I think he's projected right around second round.
Okay.
Somewhere. So
Yeah, I'm not too knowledgeable about the guy. When I was doing my research, he didn't pop up.
Yeah.
He wasn't somebody that I had my eye on. So interesting.
yeah, he'd be a good system fit for us for sure.
Cool.
For sure.
Cool. Yeah, like you said, I mean, I think pairing up a guy in that middle size that's a little bit of a tougher player
Yeah.
pairs well with Hilton and now
Yeah.
Funchess, and then some of our plug and play wide receivers that we have backing them up. So, I
Yeah,
could
you can
definitely
run
see
him inside in the slot, outside. Have Ty in the slot because we all know Ty loves running in the slot with mismatches. So
very cool.
does a lot of damage there.
I mean, anything that we can do to take the double teams off of them
Oh,
and
yeah.
take off that focus and the game planning that they have for Hilton to always
Right.
game plan for them.
Oh yeah.
If we can get in the way of that, that'd be great.
Houston can game plan for him, but I mean they can triple team him, but he'll still catch the ball. You know what I mean?
Hey, when you make a guy show up to your place in a clown mask, that's
Right.
all I'm talking about. Okay, my next pick here, I have Jermaine Pratt. Jermaine Pratt is a linebacker from North Carolina State. He is 6'2", 240 pounds. He runs a 4.57 40, decent for a linebacker. 104 tackles. He had 10.5 for loss, which I liked. 6 sacks, which, I mean, that's a decent amount of sacks.
Oh yeah.
Only played 11 games, and that was his stat line.
Wow.
I think he's got good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. He's got good coverage skills from what they're saying. From playing safety, he's a little bit raw. He was 1 year as a starter. That was it. So I think that he's got a lot of room for improvement. But you're talking about a coverage linebacker mixed with what we have already going on in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you look at his size.
Absolutely.
Obviously, he knows how to get penetration. He knows how to get in there. Those are good stats, especially for 11 games is all he played.
Right.
I think that those are really good stats. I mean, 6 sacks for that position in college, and North Carolina State's not that great of a team.
Right.
I mean, they're good. I'm not trying to knock them. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to knock them, but they're just not. I'm saying they're not Alabama.
Right.
But to see, I thought that he had good stats. This was a guy I kind of came across as I was doing my research, and I felt like at the linebacker position, we obviously we're looking good, but to add another complement linebacker to him, especially one that's a coverage linebacker, I think that would fit very well with our system. He seemed like a good fit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick back to you.
All right. For my round 3, I think he's gonna fall. Julian Love. I got Julian Love, cornerback, Notre Dame, pick for round 3, pick 89. I think he's gonna go down a little bit because of some of the things other teams look for in him. His speed isn't that great, but we run zone heavy, so his speed isn't that big of a deal for us. You can be a slower corner and be successful in our system, because we don't run a lot of man-to-man coverage at all.
Sure, and I think Love, personally, I feel the same way. I feel like Love isn't exactly your prototypical cornerback. He's not somebody that's going to wow you. It's not somebody where a bunch of teams are going to be looking like, oh, we got to make sure that we get this guy.
Right.
But he definitely fits our system, and I think he would be a perfect fit for what we have. So
I
agree with you.
Would.
I could see him falling down that far.
Got good ball skills. I mean, we like turnovers, and he's good at creating them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And he's good at breaking the passes up. He's a good corner.
And
like
you said,
solid corner.
The speed thing definitely threw me off a little bit when I was looking at it. I
Sure,
was like,
sure.
Because I was reading about him, and I'm like, oh man, I want this dude. Like I started looking at it, then I looked at his speed, and I was like, oh, okay. So I could definitely see him falling down.
I think he might fall around 3. I hope he does.
Well,
so we get him.
All right, so look, that kind of wraps up our first scenario. This other scenario, which I think is less likely, and there's reasons for that, but I'm going to go ahead and give a second scenario, mostly because I did a lot of research into this, and I didn't just want to stop at one. I wanted to keep hearing myself talk, because, it's me and Zach can't get together and then spend more than 10 minutes talking about it. You got to keep going.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So I wanted to do a second one. All right. My second one, and the first pick overall, 26, I'm actually going to go with Dexter Lawrence. And I'm only doing that because it seemed like, 85% of all the draft picks out there, all the mock drafts were like, that's who you're taking. Like, it seemed like everybody was telling us that's who they were taking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And him and Tillery. And I don't think Tillery definitely, I don't think, is our guy.
Right.
Physically and the way that he looked, I thought I wanted to take Tillery. When I started looking into him, I realized that's not going to happen. Tillery's not coming to us. He's a very definitely the style, and I think it's a shame that he has these character issues, because he would be perfect for our team. Like everything would be like, I would be so excited to get this dude. He's huge. He's big, 6'4" or something. Like that. Dude, yes, I wanted that guy, but he's not character. He's going to fail the character test, and I doubt that he's even on our board. I doubt they're going to do that. Now, in that said, I kind of feel a little bit the same about Dexter Lawrence. And just a little bit. I guess he failed for a PED. I think we've had some problems with that in the past, and they're just kind of frowning about that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know that that's going to be enough to take it out of him, but I also don't know that he's the greatest fit for us. I think that he offers a big, huge person. He's 6'4", 342 pounds.
Yes, he is.
And the difference between him and the other guy who's 6'4" is he's a lot smaller, and he's more fast, more nimble. Tillery. So anyways, Dexter Lawrence, 342 pounds. He's a huge, massive dude. He run at 5'5", so he's really slow. I prefer a much faster defensive tackle. I think we prefer a much thinner, faster defensive tackle. I just don't think he fits the scheme, but I'm throwing him in there simply because that's what everybody talked about. So he had 44 tackles. He had 7.5 for a loss, 1.5 sacks. Which isn't even a lot of sacks at all. He's a three pass breaks. He had out of 13 games. Okay, he tested positive for PFDs, and he ended up missing the final bowl games.
Yeah, national championship game.
National championship.
Yep.
Game. And so, anyways. He's a space eater. He would be really good at run stop, and I think that that's great. But we have such a fast defense, or a fast moving, even if they're not the fastest players, but they're fast moving. And then, there's a lot of players in our team that can go side to side. I just think movement wise, he would slow things up. I think he would get in the way. He might be good to eat up a couple of I was reading about him, and they said one of his big strengths is freeing up the linebackers, sucking up them holes and freeing up those linebackers. Now with our linebacking core, I actually think that would be a great thing that could happen. So I could see in that small scenario, if they were looking to do that they would add him. The fact that all kinds of people got him going here, I think that they don't necessarily know what we're doing on defense. I just think there's so many people that picked him. Like almost everybody I looked at was like, Dexter Lawrence is going to do guys. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on that.
All right, yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of him for our team just because we need penetrators, and he's not real good at penetrating, but he does eat up blocks. He's a very sizable man.
I mean, that can be beneficial.
Sure. But for me, on my second one, I have the other defensive tackle from Clemson, Christian Wilkins, going on our round 1 pick here. Really like him. Pretty good size, athletic. He's a lot smaller than Lawrence, but better for an attacking front like we have. A lot more speed to him. Real good penetration, good hands.
No, he's great, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but here's my problem. He's not going to be there when we're back.
Yeah. Well, this is a long shot. That's why it's on the second one.
Sure. And you know what? I probably should have just went that route. But for real though, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Dude, I would literally flip my shit if we got this guy.
Oh yeah.
I would be so excited to get this guy. Great character.
Yeah.
And like everything I looked at, I was just like, this is who I want a defensive tackle. Again, I'm a defensive guy. I love defensive line. I really just don't think that he's going to be available.
Yeah. But if he is, and they can get him, oh man.
Yeah.
Plus he's got some good dance moves. I don't know if you've seen him at the national championship, but he's got some good dance moves. And he can do the splits.
We need more dance moves on our team.
Right.
I think that's a big weak point in it. Obviously, our cheerleaders are good. I want to give a shout out to the cheerleaders.
Oh yeah.
But as far as dancing is concerned, we need more of that.
Yeah. I mean, we sure do.
All right. All right. In my second. Here's the thing, at 34, I've still got us taking Jonathan Abram. I wanted to mix it up and go a little different route, but you know what? If I didn't put his name on my list, even in my second scenario, I would just cry because I really want this guy so much. Again, favorite player in the draft. Now, obviously, what you just said, Wilkins. I would love to get that guy.
Oh man,
he's not gonna flip it. But yeah, outside of that, Jonathan Abram, I want this hard hitting safety. So I'm not gonna go through his stat line or his stuff because we just did this in the last one. Yeah. But I just wanted to say that I just put him on the second one because I love the dude. I really want him.
Yeah. He's a good safety.
All right.
For me in the first round 2 pick, I got the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the other safety from Florida. Great safety. I'm hoping he falls this late to us. I don't know if he will, but great ball skills, great coverage, just a good all around safety. And if you want to go coverage instead of a thumper and on your safeties, then he'd be the perfect guy to put next to Hooker, and they would be shutting down both halves of the deep end of the field.
And I like that because I agree. I kind of looked at that guy too, and I thought that was a good option because we are, like I pointed out before, we're going to be facing some air-out freaking offenses this year. I mean, you know what I mean?
I mean, and we play Houston twice a year, and DeAndre Hopkins ain't no slouch. He's pretty good.
I think he's a little overrated, but
still pretty good.
Sorry,
he can still stretch the field.
If you're a Houston fan, I just do feel like he's a little overrated. I just don't know. But that's no. Yeah, Travis is great, dude.
Oh yeah.
I'm just talking shit.
Right.
He's a badass.
Right.
So, anyways, I got at 59. I've got Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback from Temple. He's 6 foot tall, 192 pounds. He runs a 4.51. Again, a little bit slow for me, but he's got 12 pass breakups, 47 tackles, 2 for loss, 2 interceptions. They said he's raw. He's a first-year starter, but he's got great character. They talked about just like he's really, really good guy. And I think that this is a guy that would show up on the Colts' radar. I think Rock Ya-Sin. Now listen, the biggest reason why I want this guy on this team is so that I can say Rock Ya-Sin all the time. I would literally I would destroy that saying. Everybody would be sick of it. I'd be getting all kinds of comments about how stupid it was that I kept saying it, but I would just keep saying it. I'd be dude, the Colts rocked Ya-Sin today. Because it is like the coolest name I have ever heard in my life. Like, I really, honestly,
cool, it is a cool name.
We're sitting here on Easter doing this, and I just feel like Rock Ya-Sin. I'm just like, dude, I feel it. I feel it coming. So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, like I said, he's a little bit raw. He's a little bit slow, but I think that he would definitely be a good complement. He seems to be a good enough cornerback to add, and I think at this position, 59 might be a little bit low for him. He was another guy that was kind of all over the place. When I looked at where he was, he could fall here, he could go there. Like you said, it depends on what people are looking for.
And he could even drop down to the third one there.
But ultimately, I would definitely say that this is a guy that I really do want as well. I think he's somebody that I personally don't think he's still going to be available at 59, and I really want to focus on getting a D tackle and then Abrams higher up, or a wide receiver and Abrams higher up. So I really didn't want to put him in a first or second, a second slot, which I don't think, obviously not the first, but the second slot maybe. I really hope that he falls to us. This would be a cornerback I would like to get.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to stick with you on that pick because that's exactly who I have on there as Reckyson.
Nice.
I mean, not a whole lot of tape to go off of, but he's tough, he's sticky, he's got good character, good ball skills.
And I think
he would fit right in our system.
Good character is important.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, yeah. And plus, he has good corners to work behind, and learn from and really develop very well in our system. I think he'd be a real good system guy. But, yeah. So
I agree with you. I would like to see him have a little bit more experience, just more to go off of and say, hey, he learned a lot from this year to this year. But with that said, that also means that there's a lot of room for development still left there. And I think that he good character guys. He seemed like somebody that they said is very willing to learn. That's what he was they were stated as saying about him.
Yep.
So I think that this is a guy that doesn't just enter the NFL and then stop developing. This is a guy that enters the NFL, learns from everybody he can, his teammates and his coaches. And I think he could just get better.
For sure.
My number 89th is I'm actually going to repeat another pick, and that's Jermaine Pratt. And I'm going with him. He's that linebacker from North Carolina State. I talked about him in the first one. Mostly because I think I got a little lazy towards the end of doing this, and I had my eye on a couple other people. There was a couple of running backs that I was kind of looking at, but the more and more I looked at them, they didn't fit. So I had somebody else going at the slot, and just the more and more I looked at it, I think he would have still been a fit for us later on in the draft. Laird from Cal, he's a running back who could slip over to the slot. That's what they were saying about him. He's a pretty decent wide receiver, might not be the greatest running back. But he would be somebody that we would take later on, maybe in the late fourth or the fifth pick. So I had him going here just too high, and in the last minute, I'm like, all right, I got to plug somebody else in there. So I'm still going to go with Jermaine Pratt because I do feel like he's a good fit, like I talked about before, and I wouldn't mind seeing us pick up another linebacker.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you on linebacker, but who I got going on that pick is Blake Cashman from Minnesota. He is another tackling machine, and I mean, you add him with Walker and, of course, Leonard. Wow. You'd have one heck of a tackling linebacking core. Just a solid prospect. Lacks some technique and everything like that, but, I mean, you can coach that out of him for sure. Nothing you can't coach him out to. And
he puts a little bit raw.
A little bit raw.
Yeah.
But he puts max effort all the time. All the time. He doesn't know how to underperform and put, less effort than he knows how to. He goes hard, tackles a lot, and a little raw, but if we can pick him up in the third round, I think that'd be a good value pick, and give him a year or two and see where he's at after that.
That would be great, man. I think that's great. Like I said, I would like to see us add another linebacker. If we can get a good linebacker, especially like you said, with a motor that's running, that don't quit. Dude, I couldn't. I mean, like lining up against the biggest motor that you see out there with Leonard, and then him also. I think that would be fantastic, dude. So.
Oh yeah. I think.
So I think overall, the thing that we're getting the most out of this is defense. I think,
and a wide receiver.
One. I've got one on my list. I've got everything else. As far as I'm concerned,
I actually don't.
What? Have any?
I don't have any wide receivers on my first 3 rounds actually. Or I do. Kelvin Harmon.
That's right.
State.
That's right.
I did.
So we got one each, and the rest of us have defense. Obviously, if I'm a defensive guy, but at the same time, I think that we're at the cusp of a extremely good defense. We've got some very good places, places in there where positions. A lot of good positions in place to make a really good defense out of. You got that good linebacker. You got Justin Houston there. You got like you said, decent cornerbacks and decent safeties. We're not like hurting there.
No.
I really like Gathers too. I like Hooker. I like that.
Kenny Moore.
Kenny Moore.
Love Kenny Moore.
So I mean, I think that we've graduated a lot just since last year, and the additions that we made last year in the draft and free agency, like we discussed earlier. earlier, and I just feel like, man, if we can add quite a few more defensive players, our offensive line is great. I'm happy with our running back core. Is it the greatest thing out there? No. Is it serviceable for what we do? Absolutely.
Yeah,
and you've got
for what we do.
you got luck. You got like you said, if we were able to just get one top-notch wide receiver, I would like to see him get Harry. I would love to see that. I think he would fit really good. Or like you said, that guy from North Carolina State. Both of them seem like very similar style of players.
Yeah.
So I think if we could add that kind of a player in there with that three, I mean, dude, you know what I mean? Like, we could just be beasts out there.
Yep.
I mean, because that's what you need is a good defense to complement that good offense. We haven't had that, and if you're going to go ahead and get good enough young players that you've got a 3 to 4 year window before really all of these contracts start coming up or whatever, you know, in 3 years, that gives you some really good competition in a very strong AFC. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Oh, I'm super excited. I've been talking about it all off season. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready for Thursday to get here.
Yes.
Figure out at least the first round, and especially ready for Friday for those 3 picks and see what happens on Friday.
I'm ready to see how well we did our mock draft.
Yeah.
Because I put a lot of effort into this, and there's probably not going to be a single player taken from either one of our scenarios.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, and we'll have to talk about that whatever happens.
We will follow that. We'll
have to talk about that.
Abrams.
See what
Keep your eye on Abrams.
Yeah.
Again, out of
Really
all the players that are on this one, that's what I want, man.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Give me that hard-hitting safety. I want to see people's helmets get knocked off.
Yeah. Yep. Gotta love it.
Thank you for joining us today at 420 Colts Lane, where we always take the high road. Anyhow, you guys, if you enjoyed the show, we're definitely going to be back to do more, especially next season. I can't wait. If you liked it, go ahead and give me a sub, and we look forward to seeing you again.